Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's Monday morning, which means it's Ben Foster and Mark Goldbridge. How are you doing, Ben? Give me some fist. Right, so let's get into it. Manchester United won at the weekend. What was it you said on win, lose or draw? My hot take of the week is that it will be a draw at Burnley. Well, it wasn't. It maybe should have been.
Yeah.
But you've got a few things you want to talk about, whether Man United are back or not. But it would be remiss of us not to start on an old friend of yours, Johnny Evans. You've got to be happy for him. There's no future in it, and I don't think he's that good. But that pass was brilliant on Saturday, and he was man of the match.
He was man of the match. I remember a few weeks ago when him and Maguire were playing, and you went right off on one, and I just kept thinking, nah, mate, Johnny Evans is the boy. Seriously, he's the boy.
He cost us the game.
He's a lovely player, mate, honestly. He's a lovely man, he's a lovely player, and he's been drafted in, you've got to think, as probably, start of season, 5th, 6th choice centre-back?
Well, that's why he was playing on Saturday.
5th or 6th choice centre-back, and he puts that performance in away at Burnley. Really, really tough place to go. He stood up physically. The goal that he scored, I think, probably should have stood as a goal. And then the assist for the Bruno goal was fantastic. But I just think he offers so much more than what the actual, what the stats might say. I think he is that calm and influence. I think the players will look up to him, even though... I think even though he's probably not the biggest name in the world, and you've got some of these absolute megastars in the Manchester United team, I think him just as a man, as a human being, I think some of them lot will look at him and think, yeah, I know he will be there in the trenches when the shit hits the fan, basically.
What I loved was his interview afterwards where he said, like, when I found out I was playing all the time on the bus, 200 games, I was buzzing. And you think, that's a rarity in the modern game. Yeah. And he's 35, probably should be retired. And, he's still got that buzz and excitement. And I just don't think the modern player has that. In relation to Manchester United, though, it is a big win. It takes the pressure off, certainly. That team we put out on Saturday, I think most United fans an hour before the game were like, yeah, come on. And then we saw the team, we were like, this could go wrong. So to get the win was fantastic. Are United back? Did you see enough from United on Saturday night to think, yeah, better times ahead? Or is it just get 3 points and
it's just get 3 points. At the end of the day, they got 3 points, and that's all that matters. It really is all that matters. It buys Ten Hag, it buys the team, it buys the players a little bit more time. It creates a little bit more of a better feeling around. So they'll turn into training today, and it will just feel a little bit better. The atmosphere will be nicer. But the performance was just very, very average. It's the sort of performance where if they're playing anyone half decent there, they're not winning the game. They are. You got to remember they're playing Burnley. And I told you before the game, it's not going to be an easy match. It's going to be tough. I expected a draw. It probably should have been a draw. Anana had to make a couple of decent saves. But it was muchness from Manchester United. I didn't see anything where you went, oh, that's just quality. You watched that North London derby yesterday, and Tottenham and Arsenal are playing proper football. Yeah. Pass and move and high tempo and shutting down and getting in people's faces. And that is what the Premier League is about. And we're talking about Arsenal and Tottenham, who aren't even the best teams in the Premier League. So I just think Man United are quite a way off that at the minute, but it's 3 points at the end of the day.
It's a good point, because the side that he put out on Saturday, you're never going to expect to see, oh, that's something to build with, because those players aren't going to play. But in general, Man United sort of have wandered back into... Well, look, I think Burnley had 60-something% possession. Yeah. They arguably deserved a draw, but albeit they had no cutting edge. Why are Man United not playing good football? Why after a year, in your opinion? Because I remember you saying a year ago it's going to take 18 months. Yeah. Why is it that United are not playing football, and yet Tottenham are playing good football, and Brighton are playing football?
I just don't think they've got the players. I really don't. I just think recruitment's been a massive problem. I mean, what do you think of Højlund at the weekend? How do you think he did?
I think he's 20 years of age, and people are already going,
weight on his shoulders.
He doesn't look that good. And I'm like, we didn't buy Harry Kane. We bought a 20-year-old who I think a lot of people are right. I think he's got the movement, and I think he will grow into the role. But that is the key word is grow.
It's a massive ask. Like he's played I think something like 50 odd games in his whole career.
His breakthrough was last year.
In his whole career, and to expect him to lead the line for Manchester United it's a ridiculous ask. No, I just think they haven't got the players who are going to be able to play the system, the style that is required to be at the very top in the Premier League nowadays. Like I say, if you look at the likes of the Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Manchester City, they play a very high-tempo style of football where everybody presses, and then that one presses, and it's like a cog machine. The other one comes around, the other one comes around. And I don't think you've got virtually anybody in that team who wants to do that. If you look all the way through the top, through to the midfield, Casemiro, Bruno, Rashford, Højlund, they're not players that are going to go and press in unison and work as part of a team. They all want to get on the ball and they want to all show everybody what they can do. And it's not how football works nowadays. Football has changed. You have to work as part of a system. That's why Man City are so good at doing what they do. And even though they've got the best players, technically, they have the best players who want to work hard for it as well. So even if you're Jack Grealish, you have to put a shift in first and foremost. That is the first thing you have to do is put the shift in and get up and chase people down and shut people down. And then when you get the ball, show everybody how good you are.
It's interesting because I think, he's bought this ball-playing goalkeeper in Onana, and we're not a ball-playing team. Nope. And I see him with the ball against Burnley a few times, and he takes the ball, slows the game down, which is quite good because it can take the pressure off. And against Bayern a few times, he can stand there with the ball, and Bayern won't go near him because they know he can play through. But from a momentum point of view, it slows the momentum down. And then 3 or 4 times against Burnley, he actually just hit a 60-yard ball to no one, which De Gea was getting criticism for last year. And I'm like, we bought this ball-playing goalkeeper who, I'm sorry, I do not think he's a better shot stopper than David De Gea, and I'll argue that with anyone. But we bought a ball-playing goalkeeper who is better than David De Gea, but we don't play ball-playing football. So it's sort of like, you look at it and you go, yeah, he's definitely better on the ball, but he's having to hit it long still because no one will come and get the ball.
It don't suit your team. There are so many different types of goalkeeper, and the way goalkeeping is at the minute anyway, it's evolving all the time into what you want from a goalie. It's almost like teams don't even look at shot stopping anymore. They just look at are you good with the ball at your feet? And for sure, he's good with the ball at his feet, but I can't wait until Man United play Man City away at the Etihad, right?
No, I can't.
And Man City are pressing from the very front, and they won't let Onana have it 40 yards out from his goal.
It'll be interesting.
They are going to be shutting him down. And I want to see how he does that. I want to see how the manager sets the team up to go right. Just carry on what you're doing, lads. And if you do that, oh my God, this is trouble because they're going to just be scoring goals right, left, and centre. So they're going to have to play a completely different style of football. He just doesn't suit them at this moment in time. They haven't got the players that are around him. He'd be decent in a Man City, but he's nowhere near as good as Ederson, so there's no way he's getting into a team like that. It's the wrong goalie at the wrong time. But maybe the right goalie at the wrong time.
Yeah, I think
one of them anyway.
I think that's why I asked you about the style of play, because I think what it does show is that Ten Hag obviously had a plan of style football this season, and he's already had to abandon it. Yeah, because we're not playing out.
But it's like fur coat, no knickers, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It's like you've got the parts.
What's fur coat, no knickers?
It's like.
Am I literally thinking about someone in a fur coat with no knickers on?
That's the saying, isn't it? Fur coat, no knickers. So it's like...
I've heard of red shoes.
It looks good on the surface, yeah? It's like, if you put it on paper, it's Onana and goal, he's this ball playing, oh, that's fantastic. But then you look at the rest of it and you go, actually, there's nobody that can really go and take the ball off him, though, or drops into it, and it's like, it just doesn't work. It looks fantastic. You might have the parts, but they're not going to work as part of a machine, are they? So, yeah, that's my analogy. People get it. It's just you're being weird.
No, I'm just thinking about somebody in a fur coat with no knickers on, and that's just doing all sorts for me.
All show, no substance, basically.
That's fine.
All show, no substance.
I've heard of red shoes, no knickers. So if someone had red shoes on, it meant
fur coat, no knickers, lads. You've heard of that, haven't you?
Who thought this was going to be a talking point on the United stand?
Miles off it.
Clip it. Anyway, Rashford. I've got to talk about Marcus Rashford. I spoke about him last week on the United stand. I think he's got 4 goals in his last 20. So now it's got to be 4 in his last 22. What's? I mean, I think for me, I'm a big supporter of Rashford, and I said last year he could win a Ballon d'Or. I've got to change that, obviously, and say that he's a player when he's hot, and when he's not, he's not. Yeah. And I think that's Rashford, isn't he? I think he's one of those players that struggles with the consistency of being a top player, which is very winger-esque. I mean, Ashley Young was like this. It's not unusual for a winger to be inconsistent,
hot and cold,
and I think that's the thing with Rashford, isn't he? We maybe overhype and overexpect.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think just people probably have overhyped him to the point of him being sort of a national saviour, and he's just not that, is he? Really, to be perfectly honest, there's a reason probably why he doesn't start for England. There's a reason why he is inconsistent, because that's just who he is
too much pressure
as a footballer. There is
too much expectation.
Too much expectation. People are hyping him up to be something that he quite honestly isn't. I think for me, if I look at what I want from a winger or a striker, especially one of the top teams now, like I said a minute ago, you have to be able to put the work rate in first and foremost. You have to have that. It's not only just the work rate either, though. It's the desire to want to do that. It's the desire to really... There's a difference between sort of half putting a shift in and half shutting people down and putting your foot in, and then really putting a shift in and really closing people down. And I just don't think he has that desire within him to really want to go and do that. And I think that's probably what will hold him back from being an absolute world beater. That is probably the big thing.
I think I hate to say it, I think the benchmark is Mo Salah. You know, week in, week out, goals,
relentless,
relentless. Work rate.
This is work rate. Look at his work rate, mate. It is a joke. Seriously, he never stops running. He's so selfless. Do you know what I mean? Not selfish. He's selfless.
Well, he'll pass, won't he? If the pass is there,
he will. He'll pass. But he just keeps going. He keeps shutting people down, and he does it for the team. He drags the whole team up to the top of the pitch. That's what you want from a player, and you don't see that from Rashford. You don't see him being that leader or that commander where he's going, "No, lads, I'm going to show you how it is, and you all follow my lead." It's that's the bit that's missing.
It's the same old problem at Man United, and I don't even blame the players. I blame the board. They pay people the wages of a Mo Salah or a Kevin De Bruyne, and Bruno's not Kevin De Bruyne, and Rashford's not Salah, and you know, Casemiro's not Rodri anymore. I wish he was, but we pay these players what those players get, but we never have those players. What do you think, Manchester United? This 6 games is a good point to go. Like, this is the way the season's going. What are your expectations for Man United this season? I personally think it's all about 4th or 5th. 5th might get Champions League and maybe a domestic trophy, but I don't think it's any better than that. Do you think it's any worse than that?
Yeah, I think it might be. I do. I think I'm changing. I think I'm changing, but week by week now, because I'm just not seeing anything that really makes me go, yeah, they're ticking now. They're ticking now, and I don't see how it can start to really tick, because I think
players back.
But I think Manchester United, just the way they are now, there's so many eyes on them. There's so much expectation. I just don't think they've got the players to be able to cope with that expectation. So no matter where you go now, if Man United are playing Brentford tomorrow at Brentford, what do you think the score's going to be?
Much the same as Burnley. I'd back us to win, but you just don't know.
You just don't know.
You're probably going to need that Bruno world-class goal, and you're probably going to need it to hit the post from them. You know, it's going to be fine margins, isn't it? It's not going to be fine margins for Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, probably Spurs, Villa, and that's where United are at the moment. We're a long way.
That's what I'm saying. You've just named 5 or 6 teams there, and you could add a couple more into the mix as well. You could add the Brightons in there, and that's my worry at the minute, is that they're still behind them, and yet they've probably got the biggest wage bill in the Premier League. They're spending money right, left, and centre. The expectation is higher than anybody else, but they probably haven't got the squad that's as good as some of them teams that you've mentioned. So realistically, you're looking at sort of 6th, 7th at the minute.
Okay, interesting show on a Monday morning. Well, I would call it a reality bite on a Monday morning. But we've got the win, and we're just going to have to keep grafting away. Pleasure as always, Ben. Honesty.
3
People
points.
say just play for lives.
At the end of the day, 3 points is 3 points, and it doesn't matter how you get it, yeah? On the Monday morning when you wake up, 3 points in the bag, the atmosphere is a little bit better. They're the positives, at least. They've got to look to the positives.
The media can focus on Chelsea and Poch out now.
Yes, they will do as well. Carries on the way he's going.
Thanks, Ben. As always, make sure you smash a like on the video and get your comments in below. Lots to discuss there. Speak to you soon.